Oh, okay, that worked out great. Okay, hello, this is Aaron Klein. It's been a little bit. It's been like 3 weeks, and I'm sorry about that. Just to explain what's been going on. To start with, one, I had to buy a new car. Yeah, that took a while. That's not the main reason why I had to take a break, though. The main reason why was because I caught a nasty sinus cold. It's not corona. I tested negative. Trust me. You'll still probably see me coughing some for a little bit. It'll calm down, trust me. It's a bunch of leftover junk from the cold. I have on a different shirt. Wow, surprising, right? Now I have 2 shirts I wear, right? No. I'm just choosing different shirts to wear from now on. That one's probably clean somewhere in my room. Well, not my room, in my collection. I don't have a room right now. Anyways, that's beside the point. So, yeah, that's just a quick little update. I'm sorry that I didn't get videos out for a whole 3 weeks. That sucks. Believe me, it sucks for me too. Today I'm going to talk about something that I've had to retake at least, 4 or 5 times now. Just because I keep finding ways to get distracted. And because I keep finding ways to get distracted on the topic, and that's disappointing. But it's going to be, the topic's relatively important, and there's a little bit of science in it. A little bit. So to start off with, the little bit of science I'm going to be talking about today is the idea of a case study. It sounds... Case studies are they're not usually a scientific tool, except when something very unordinary happens. Like you run 1,000 tests, and there's a very odd outcome that comes out of one of those tests. Like, identical tests. You don't really see it in chemistry, and maybe once in a while in physics, if something different was set up and something different happened. But for the most part, it's not even really used in biology all that much. Usually people use it in some of the social sciences that aren't 100% science. And that's sort of what we're going to end up doing today. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, in an earlier video, I kind of didn't say the name, but I sort of leaned on the idea. There are 2 separate mating strategies that are being put out there right now. I say put out there as in 2 different sets of people talking about how humans are mating currently. One idea is hypergamy, and that is the idea that women will choose for men that are at least as good, if not better, than them whenever they decide to find a mate. And then there is assortative mating, and that is the idea that women will just choose men that are of similar value to them. And you can get both sets of data, functioning data, in the world. The case study realistically is going to be on the Western society, specifically America, because it's really bad here. We are in full-fledged hypergamy, and let's just be clear, the vast majority of the world, Dr. Sam Vaknin started talking about this data a couple of weeks ago, and I decided I need to address this because it's statistically it's there. The vast majority of the world, it's not vast, but it's 80 to 85% of the world is still working on assortative mating. While in the Western culture we're part of that 15% where we are more in this hypergamous. We have this hypergamous way of mating, and it's going to show something. First of all, the people that did collect this data, they have their own. I'm saying the hypergamy data. The vast majority of them have their own agenda to push, and I think I'm pretty sure they're called the manosphere, whether it be the red pill people, well, they call themselves red pilled, whether it be men going their own way who are just done with dating, whether it be the guys that call themselves the alphas, whether it be whatever. The people that usually are associated with this idea. All right, 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get a better lighting and a better viewpoint. The people that are usually associated with that idea, the people that went out and collected the data, they're pushing their own agenda. And these people, I'll say for the most part, Jordan Peterson has latched on, and he's clearly not part of this group, but it does say something, that the data has some validity. A lot of these people are narcissists and psychopaths, and I'm saying deliberately narcissistic psychopaths. A lot of them are. I'm not going to challenge the validity of the data. I am challenging their response to it, because there's all sorts of ways you can interpret data, and they are choosing the one that is specifically in their best interest. So what they are saying is, if you are in the top 10% of guys, you should have multiple girlfriends till you decide one of them is worth your time. I'm not getting into their argument, but it's very, they treat human beings like objects. They literally call women spinning plates. They're a bunch of misogynists. There's just a lot of issues, but I will move past that point. So the case study is hypergamy versus assortative mating. So the idea with hypergamy, the issue with hypergamy is, what ends up happening is 100% of women are essentially shooting for top 10 to or even 1% of men, and clearly that doesn't end up working out, and that's what's happening in our current society. There's a lot of women who will overlook guys that are still technically above them. Like, there are a lot of lower quality women that will just overlook decent guys who are well socialized and who have jobs and maybe even their own place, or will soon, because guys take a little bit to get on their feet, and they'll shoot for these top 30% of guys. So what's going on there versus assortative mating like the rest of the world is, we live in a very, what's the word? I had this all planned out in my head, and I'm forgetting some of the important words. Sorry. We live in a very, I've said narcissistic society before, but a very entitled society. There we go. That's the word. Women are told they only deserve the best of the best, no matter what. They're told hold out for the top 10%, 1% of guys hold out for the best. And there's a major flaw with that. Well, first of all, they'll sleep with those guys just outright, without any commitment or anything. And those guys, they only accept maybe casual dating with women if they'll sleep with them. So, like, women aren't gonna get what they actually want out of those men, because they are sleeping around. I say that very bluntly because we have a very big issue where women are seeking out social acceptance by sleeping around with men. And a lot of women, especially, I'll call them left-leaning, but a lot of women that end up going to college, a lot of women who end up following the social norms. No, that's not right. The far left extremist norms. People who have that mindset. Oh, I am burning trash, so I have to keep an eye on it. Sorry. Those women with those mindsets, which is actually a lot of women. So a lot of it comes from entitlement. The issue is, it's not even just those women. It's invading even right-leaning women, people think that they have entitlements, and that's not good. A lot, again, where was I going with this? There's a lot of these women that are just unhappy, and they're trying to fill that void with sex. And of course, guys do it too, but it's a lot fewer guys that can do it. And I'm saying right now, it's all unhealthy. I'm not even complaining that the lowest percentage of men aren't getting sex. I am saying that everyone is unhappy because no one is looking towards the future. Our marriage rates are insanely low, and that comes from a lot of men saying, I don't need to get married, or men saying, I can't get married. That's coming from a lot of women that say, I don't need no man, I can do whatever he can do. That's coming from a lot of women that don't want kids till after they have their careers. By the way, that's a bad idea, but I'll cover that at the end. We live in an incredibly self-serving society, incredibly I need this now society. And because of that, no one really wants to sacrifice of themselves to get to where they want to be. And what I mean by that is a lot of guys will just go out and buy whatever they want when they want it because they have the money to. They don't have girlfriends. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. What I am saying is men don't have the need to sacrifice of themselves to better themselves because they can get whatever they want right away. Like, it's if you talk to most relationship coaches, they'll say it's a bad deal for men to try to get into relationships. It's cheaper just to pay for an evening with a pro, if you get my drift. It's cheaper on about 50 different levels, whereas women think they should be sacrificing their youth to get a career, and by doing that, they don't think it'll have any effect on them having children. By the way, women do lose fertility as they age, and it's not good. It's like the system that's built right now is not really good. Oh, come on. I have a notebook just in case I was wanting to write something down to show you all. So there is a minor solution to fix the issue. I wouldn't say fix the issue. It's to mitigate the damage. Realistically, women should wait to start careers till after their children are, in school. Women should be looking to get married and then have their careers later in life, because a lot of women from my mother's time went out and got married and had kids, and then after their kids were 8-10 years old, they had some free time while they went off to school. And I'm saying this is a very quick patch to stop a massive leak, but there are bigger things going on. But there are bigger problems which require bigger solutions, which I've mentioned before. And it hurts to say, like, I promise you, I'm not a misogynist. What I am saying is, if women want children, they need to settle down and get married early, and then have careers when they're in their 30s. And that does sort of incentivize men to, well, first of all, when they settle down, they pick a man and settle down with him. That means they're not going out and chasing after the top 10% of guys if they're not in the top 10% of women. It means they need to force a sort of mating amongst themselves, and I'll just straight up say they need to slut shame other women who are decreasing their value. They need to pick a good guy and settle down and have their kids before they hit 30, and then after that they can go off and chase their careers. I'm not saying have no friends. I'm not saying have no career. I'm saying have your friends. Shoot, mommy clubs are great things to do, play dates, that kind of stuff. That's healthy. Kids need to have that social interaction from other adults, from other kids. What I am saying is women need to lock down their mates younger and have their kids. I know it sounds cruel, but life isn't fair. Everyone is blessed with different things, and everyone is blessed, and everyone is cursed with different things. That's just how it is. And I'll just get right into where that applies, sort of in my life, because it's been coming up in my life. So to start off with, I have been, as a Christian, I do see a lot of the times Christian women are settling down early. That's a good thing. There comes an issue where they're picking these younger guys, and it's a little scary for me personally. Like, I see a lot of these younger guys haven't started to start sacrificing of themselves for their own future and for their partner's future. They haven't started to do that yet. A lot of them are still entitled. I'm saying as Christians, I'm seeing this entitlement. A lot of them are still, they have no commitment to other things. And then I see these women marry these young men who haven't quite experienced the world yet, haven't gotten kicked down a couple times, and it's hurting their marriages. I'll call an acquaintance. She married a guy that was probably 2 to 3 years younger than her, and he's utterly failing to be a human being. He is destroying their marriage. He's not coming to church. He has no will about anything. He's barely doing his job. So she probably brings home as much as he does, and she's running the call center at their work. It's not a good situation. She already suffers from anxiety and depression, and he's just not helping. I see him maybe once every other month, and that's scary. He's probably 21 right now. She's probably 23, 24, something like that. Yes, there are workarounds, but clearly there's other issues in societies that in our society that aren't being fixed. And that's supposed to be through assortative mating. That's the way Christians are supposed to be going about it. I have no clue where she thought that he was worth her time. I think it was just some young love, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They met in summer camps somewhere. And quite frankly, that's when kids still have their glow. That's when teens still have their glow about them. They haven't met the real world yet, and they haven't differentiated themselves as they need to. Now, of course, not all of that's through jobs. Some of that's through schoolings. But I see her marriage failing, and it's just like, I personally cannot give any feedback at all because I am not married. I cannot give any feedback to him because I don't have a job currently. I have all the schooling, but that doesn't give me the right to talk to anyone. I am still looked at as juvenile, and I see these actual young guys that shouldn't have gotten married to begin with, and they're failing, and I'm just like these guys are failing and their marriages are failing, and it's a huge mess. And I'm just saying, I could have seen this coming a mile away. I say there's a good reason to build on yourself first, whether that be through schooling, like some sort of education. If you are going into a trade, either get training on that trade first, and have equivalent time in that trade as equivalent to schooling, or you need to build on yourself first. And that also means looking at your flaws and trying to work to fix those. If there's a lack of motivation, why is there a lack of motivation? for me, quite frankly, if I didn't lose my motivation at the end of my schooling, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I'd be in a lab. I'd probably be a year deep. No, I'd be in grad school. I'd be a year deep, and I'd be working. It'd be boring. Quite personally, for me, the information is fun, not the work. And the people are all, no offense, I've met some cool people, but they are all boring in the lab. The lab setting is boring, especially in the biological and chemistry fields. Because you have to let a reaction run for sometimes an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes overnight. And that's all you can do. And then you just walk out. And sometimes you have to watch a reaction for the whole 2 hours to make sure it doesn't go awry. There's just all sorts of, it's boring. You're forced to do boring things in a, there are some people who are built for that. I learned literally at the end of my senior year that, wow, this is not what I'm built to do. I've already paid for all this. I'm going to go finish the degree, but now what? I tried getting a job, and then I realized, these people aren't really all that fun. And then it also dawned on me after a while, wow, I'm going to have to go through another 10 years to get roughly tenure through whatever in the professional field if I want to do good, fun, not even necessarily fun research. Something just clicked in me, and it was yeah, no, this isn't what I wanted. But anyways, back to the main thing. People need to evaluate themselves. People need to evaluate where they're going in their lives. I'm blessed with the intelligence that I am able to change from a very scientific field of research to psychology, which is, about 80% spiritual, 10% science, and 10% application. I'm lucky that I'm blessed with that kind of intelligence. Not everyone is. Not everyone can be. I do meet smart guys all around, but I don't see them being able to transfer their field. So I want guys to succeed, but at the same time, when I see these young guys who are, 18, 20, maybe 21, getting married, I feel bad for them because they're not ready for it. Now maybe if they, right out of high school, they had a friend or a parent or a friend of the parent that got them a decent job. For example, Reliable Comfort they're based in Seymour, but they do Columbus region area, and one of the owners is in Columbus. He ends up pulling a bunch of guys in from our church to come work the job, to get the trade in. He does HVAC. He's also an electrician because, on the side, he repairs houses to sell. But beyond the point, basically a lot of guys should get into trades who aren't quite built like me, who can sit down in a room for 6 hours, 8 hours, and can just write stuff out or think stuff. I'm working on a book. I'll just say it outright. I figured eventually, after about, 3 months, that there was a heavy Christian underlay, so I just went with it, and the book's turning out amazing. But I can sit and work my brain for 6 to 8 hours straight every day, and that's cool. And that's great because I can't do that kind of hands-on for 6 to 8 hours a day. I can't lift everything I need to because of my right hand. There's a lot I can do, but I'm just not going to be fast enough or efficient enough at what I do to make a living off of it. But I can do this. There are guys that are built to be laborers, and they should find their own careers before they start looking to get married. I'm not even saying they should, be very in-depth into the careers. I am saying they need to have a plan, and they need to have worked long enough that they've built up a little bit of a bubble before they start looking to get married. And these guys have to be sure of themselves. And in order to do that, a lot of the times guys need that career so they have something they are competent at, and then they can build confidence off of that. And that can just spread into other parts of their life. I'm seeing... this turned into a different lecture altogether. But, I'll just back up to the point. The patch that I'm saying women need to start applying assortative mating and settling down early, that needs to happen if our society is going to function. Because right now our birth rate, our marriage rate, they are in the dumpster. They are on fire like the boxes I set at the beginning of this video were. And of course those are all burned down now. I wonder where our society's going. There are small fixes that need to be applied. And the first one of them is women need to stop looking around at all the top guys and seeing what all they can get. They need to look at the guys that are socially attractive, not they don't have big wallets. They have big hearts. Women need to stop looking for the guy that gives them the butterflies and look for the guy that gives them security, that they feel comfortable, making fun of once in a while. All the social norms that our society were built on 50 years ago, 100 years ago, women need to go back to that, because that's what was working, and we tried to make it better, and it crashed and failed. It crashed and failed. Like, straight up, women thought they could do better, and then it's burning society to the ground. That's the first part. Now I will say this for men. On the flip side, men need to, I'm not going to say men need to specifically look for unpretty women to start dating. I'm saying men need to sort out women, not necessarily by looks first, but they need to sort them out by personality, and there's a bunch of red flags, but obviously, like entitlement, they need to sort those women out of the selection. Those women, women who are deeply entitled, they probably suffer from I'm gonna say cluster B from now on, because there is a lot of evidence that says that those were all linked. They should all be linked as one social disorder, one mental disorder. Anyways, those women should all be chasing after the mentally unhealthy guys, and that's just completely fair. And if there's more women than there are men that are chasing after those guys, then that just shows that you need to blame their parents. Just straight up. We've had bad parenting issues, and I'm not a parent, but I am looking at society as a whole, and I am saying our parents fucked up. I shouldn't have used the F-bomb, but I'm not going to use it again to make sure this doesn't get taken off of YouTube. Our previous generations messed up, and the way we have to fix that is to do things that people don't want to do. People don't want to sacrifice of themselves early, but that's just how it has to work out. If we want to fix our society, we need to start making sacrifices. And I shouldn't even say sacrifices. I should say reasonable offers. We should be selling ourselves as what our value is instead of what it could be. No, instead of what we'd like it to be. There we go. Now, what that means in the long run, those of us guys who aren't getting girlfriends, we need to build up our value, and then when we're 30, this sucks to say, because I do not want to do this, because it's so stupid. When us guys are 30, and when women think now they want to settle down, we have to say no, because they chose not to settle down when they were younger. We want kids, we want families, and these women they weren't ready to do that. And they flipped on a dime. No, they were never ready to do this. They're never going to be ready because they're never ready to make sacrifices. They went out and had all their fun. They slept around. And I'm sorry, but I don't want a used up woman. I shouldn't even say used up, an expended woman. She expended herself. Why would I want someone that slept around for 10 years? Great question. I don't. No. I am a Christian guy. I'm willing to put up with the past if she's come to the realization I've made a mistake and she actually changed, like she converted into Christianity. I'm willing to look over her past, but there's still going to be some disconnect there. There has to be a lot of humility input into the situation, which also means, oh darn, it's going to rain. I hate that. It's trying to. Anyways, there has to be a massive, yeah, it's trying to rain, whatever. I'm going to close up my notebook. There has to be a massive amount of sacrifice at the end of the road for these women if they want anything from the guys that they looked over beforehand. And that's just not going to happen. And these women, if they weren't ready to sacrifice then, they're not sacrificing now. They simply just are realizing, oh shoot, I'm no longer worth as much. That's what's happening. And like the other trade-off is like, I don't want to date 20-year-olds. That's like a waste of my that's like a waste of my brain. Like they're not going to have nearly the amount of social intelligence. Like just no way. It's extremely unfair to guys who aren't psychopaths that women are chasing the psychopaths and sleeping around with them for 10 years before they realize that it's not worth their time. Yeah, you can see the raindrops now. I'm going to end the video. Thank you for your time. I kind of tried to go over some problems there and why they're showing up. Feel free to comment, have a discussion with me. If you like the content, please share it. I want the channel to grow. Like it, like actually give it a thumbs up on the video. That's going to be it from me today. Peace, guys. Have a nice day.